Diplomats always have to find their own way. As a diplomat, you have to think, what are your values? What are you willing to risk? You could, through peaceful resistance, you could bring about immense change in the world, and you could succeed where people thought it was impossible.
Born in 1941 on July 14th, Bastille Day in France, Marc believed he was destined to stand up to oppression and press for human rights.
An ambassador ought to be seen to be a friend of democracy and human rights. He's part of this struggle for progress and justice. He should think, gee, this is the single most exciting thing I can do. When people who have authority, if they're willing to stand with people who are fighting for justice peacefully, if an ambassador is willing to demonstrate, or at least be present at a trial, or in other ways show solidarity to dissidents, that makes an immense difference. Gandhi taught us that that's so critical, the feeling that you're together with a larger group of people and that history is on your side, that the legitimate authority figures in the world are with you.
As speechwriter for 3 presidents and 6 secretaries of state, Marc captured the promise of democracy and created not just policy, but history. His words helped to inspire hope and drive action, including the founding of the U.S. National Endowment for Democracy. Later, as an ambassador to Hungary, Marc stood in solidarity with those who embraced freedom and democracy.
One of the things that I did in Hungary in March of 1989 was actually to go out in the streets and march with the Democrats, with the Hungarian people. It was not viewed in a friendly way by the Communist Party leadership of Hungary, nor in Washington, where it was considered outrageous that I did it. But I think for the Hungarian people, it was good that they could see that they weren't alone. As a diplomat, you can play, often behind the scenes, a significant role in assuring a peaceful transition. And there can be no greater satisfaction for a diplomat in his life or her life than that.
With the support of George Soros and Hungarian businessman and philanthropist Sándor Demjan, Marc founded the International Management Center, the first Western-style management school in communist Eastern Europe. After the Berlin Wall fell, Marc brought his considerable energies to new ventures. Marc was instrumental in bringing both the free market and a free and independent press to the citizens of the Iron Curtain. As part of Central European Media Enterprises, or CME, Marc was behind the launch of Nova TV, described by the Financial Times as the most successful startup in television history. Today, CME stations reach over 50 million people throughout Central and Eastern Europe. A Tasmanian devil with a bow tie, Marc had boundless energy and enthusiasm. He fearlessly embraced opportunities to bring justice and hope to people who had little experience with either. With his trailblazing book, Breaking the Real Axis of Evil, Marc advised that U.S. foreign policy should make the worldwide promotion of democracy its top priority. Legislation based on this book led to the Advanced Democracy Act of 2007. Marc spent his last years creating tools to guide both the diplomatic corps and the military. Marc developed the Diplomat's Handbook together with Ambassador Jeremy Kinsman. The handbook has become an international guide for diplomats in supporting the transition to democracy in closed societies. Marc never stopped believing in the possibility of democracy and the role ambassadors could play in ensuring its arrival.
All the 60 peaceful revolutions that have taken place, people said were impossible and were not going to happen. The lesson is that embassies and governments need to work away at this and have confidence that it will happen.
Marc's life was more than the sum of his considerable professional accomplishments. It was also a life of humor and love, a life rich with friends, family, and most important, a life shared with his loving, brilliant, and always supportive wife, Sushma. the strong, enduring woman who both shaped Mark's legacy and was instrumental to its existence. Mark Palmer's life was filled with vision, passion, commitment, and determination. And it's not an overstatement to say that his efforts touched the lives of millions.
Looking back on my whole Foreign Service career, the greatest satisfaction was being a junior officer in Moscow at the height or the depth of communism there through to Hungary. To be part of that struggle for progress and justice is so satisfying for a diplomat. It's so much fun.